It is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. We're here on the original hearing and parole violation hearing for Cami Jean Aparicio, offender number 230272. Is that you, ma'am?
Yes.
My name's Dan Bakavoy. I'm a member of the Board of Pardons and Parole, and I've been asked to conduct your hearing today. Before we are proceeding, I would like to let you be aware these are public hearings. These are being streamed. Not sure if anybody's online, but they are public hearings. We have about 60 minutes for this hearing, about 50 minutes. We're going to discuss your conviction, what led to this behavior, your supervision history, as well as your plans for release. So I need to go ahead and take testimony from you today. Could you please raise your right hand? Do you promise that the testimony you give today will be truthful and accurate?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Did you receive at least 7 days written notice of today's hearing?
I did.
And did you review your disclosure packet of information?
Yes, I did.
Is there anything you need to correct, or did it look okay?
It looked good.
Okay. And we do have, looks like family members, mom, son, daughter, friend, sister, nephew, niece, and some friends. And I want to thank you all for coming here and joining us today. Okay. So I don't want to go into too much specific detail on the actual crime. But tell me just generally, so you were on court probation for DUI when this happened, correct?
Yes, I was.
Had you been learning some tools on how to avoid drinking and using substances?
I did. I was doing Prime for Life. I believe that was the one I was doing at the time. And yeah.
What were some things? Did you learn anything from that course or?
Yeah, I definitely learned as I was doing it, and I didn't I had made the choice not to want to drink again, and the night that this all happened, I had drank so much that I blacked out. But when I was taking those courses for the Prime for Life, I did learn a lot.
Why were you drinking so much the night before?
I had a good month at my dealership. I was working at a dealership, and I had sold the most cars that I've sold the whole entire time working there. And so it's just kind of celebrating.
Were you using any other substances?
No.
Just alcohol?
Yes.
There were some medication bottles in the vehicle. What were those?
I was prescribed Adderall and mood stabilizer. And then the other bottles that were in there, they're like metformin and just vitamins.
Why were if you don't mind, I just want to kind of get to your mental health and that stuff. So were these depression medications? Were you suffering from depression at the time, or?
No, I was prescribed them for bipolar.
Okay. And are those effective? Do those work for you?
Yeah.
And are you taking medication now while you're?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, and now I'm on an antidepressant.
Okay. Why don't you talk to me a little bit about just generally your involvement with law enforcement and with criminal activity?
So in around 2015 to 2018, when I got most of my charges, there's some theft and disorderly conduct. Those around that time I was using amphetamines, methamphetamine. And so I feel like that's mainly when my criminal behavior was around that time,
So that was between 2015 to 2018?
around there.
Is that the last time you used methamphetamine or?
Yes, since 2018.
Okay. Were you using any other substances?
No.
Tell me a little bit about being on probation. You had, justice court cases, and tell me about being on probation.
I did good when I was on probation when I was on private probation, I had gotten another charge, and that's when I was using. And then that put me on AP&P, and I did well with AP&P.
What helped you to be successful?
I think it was more so just knowing that's my last chance. And I had kids to take care of and provide for, so I got clean because I didn't want to get any dirty UAs and end up going to jail, so I got clean.
When you say you went to jail from this incident, or?
I didn't want to go to jail, and so that's when I had gotten clean when I was on AP&P, because they're a lot more strict and I guess more supervised.
What are some ways you could be better when you're on probation or parole to be more successful?
Probably these classes. So I've done the program here, and they've really helped me a lot on the outside. I've never really done any type of drug program or any grieving. So I definitely know that therapy and classes, just life skill classes, will help.
Tell me about those classes. What have you been learning?
With grieving, that is my biggest one that I really needed help with. And so it's just helped me learn the different stages of grieving and how to better cope with my emotions and feelings in a positive way. And before, I would always just use meth so that I didn't have to deal with my emotions. And so to do this sober and grieve my daughter, it's just really helped me in with all the skills that I can learn to work through my emotions.
Tell me about your program participation. How has it been?
Well, I've done well. I was a mentor once I graduated, and
From ARSA?
from
Well, from residential treatment?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I graduated in 7 months, and then I was the mentor, and I've been in aftercare since, and have done well.
What are the most significant things you've learned? I mean, you talked a little bit about the grieving process, but as far as like being clean and sober, what are some of the most significant things you learned?
Um, Playing the tape forward, just thinking about my actions before I do them, and better communication. That's gonna help.
Tell me about being a mentor. How was that experience?
It was good. So I was just I learned a lot through the program, so I just wanted to be able to help others that were in there and just starting, and be a good influence for them.
Do you feel like that's been a positive experience?
Yeah, Yeah,
What
definitely.
was most positive about it?
Um, just knowing that I'm helping other people that are in the same type of situation as me, and when they first come in, they're not as hopeful, and so to help build them up and keep them positive and let them know that they can do this. Like if I can do it, then they have a chance, and to see that progress in them, um, that's that's all worth it.
And once, once you're released, how are you going to apply all this information to your day-to-day life?
Um, I mean, I still have all my books and everything, so just when I came to prison, I was broken. I had to restart all over again, just grieving my daughter, and I just was so lost. So I had to find myself all over again in the program. So I feel like every day that I'm using all of my skills that I've already learned.
Um, you obviously suffered something so tremendous that it's incomprehensible. How were you able to find yourself?
Um, religion is just faith. I've been baptized since I've been here, and just really, I feel like God is a big part of it. And before I wasn't religious, and I was actually really upset when everything happened. And so I had to learn to forgive myself, and to forgive myself, I had to find God.
Um, you're obviously gonna, I mean, this grieving process will never end, right? You'll have to grieve, and you're gonna be with this burden forever. Um, how are you? How are you gonna, once you get out, how are you gonna be able to continue to process and grow and learn from this?
Um, I'm definitely gonna want to do therapy and stay in therapy, and like I said, classes and everything. And the church that I go to here, they actually have a location in Salt Lake where I plan to reside in, and so I want to stay active with them.
I'm sorry, tell me that last thing about where reside with.
Oh, I want to reside in Salt Lake, and the
Okay.
church that I go to, that I attend here, is actually located in Salt Lake.
And you had previous, you worked at a dealership, is that,
Mhm.
and I think you said that's where you wanted to work?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have specific plans on, contacting specific dealerships or?
Yeah, I worked at a GMC dealership in St. George, and I see that they have one in West Jordan, and they sell the similar vehicles that I sold. So I was planning on going to Jerry Seiner.
Okay. And, where are you gonna live? Who are you gonna live with?
So I wanted to do Orange Street, the transitional housing, so that I can get a place and get on my own 2 feet, and have my kids come back home with me. So somewhere in Salt Lake.
So you'd start at Orange Street, kind of look for a job, get your employment, and then you feel like you could get a place and have your children. Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like, I mean, you have lots of support here. I'm assuming they're going to be supporting you in the community.
Yeah, definitely.
Are, do you feel that you can be better at communicating with them and reaching out to them when you have problems?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can. I feel like we've, in a strange way, gotten closer here, because all you can do is communicate through the phone, and so I feel like I've built a stronger relationship with my children, and as well as my family members, my mom and my sister.
And then you also said you're going to go to a church, and I'm assuming you'll have support there. Do
Yeah.
you know anybody at the church already, or
Yeah.
in Salt Lake?
Kim Gomez with Courageous Visions.
One of the things I want to make sure is once you're released is that you avoid substance abuse issues. How are you going to do that once you're out?
I mean, this is a big wake up call. I've always had an addiction, I'd say, and to lose my daughter over my addiction is just like, I don't even want. I know you probably have a lot of people say that they're gonna stay sober, but I made a promise to my daughter too that I would stay sober, and I have to stay sober for them. But I want to stay sober. I can't even just to lose my daughter over my addiction is that enough to keep me sober.
And you've been sober these months.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you've been a lot clearer?
Definitely. Yeah.
The assessment mentioned that you denied having any friends involved in criminal activities. However, on the date of the offense, you were driving to Ogden to bring somebody back who was a documented Ogden Tracy gang member and on federal probation. Can you address that?
Yeah, that was an ex-boyfriend of mine that I hadn't had contact with for 8 years, and out of the blue, like, he had needed help, and so I cared for him. I wanted to help him, but that's what happened that night.
Okay. So you don't have any involvement with
No.
gangs?
No.
You've done really well while you've been incarcerated, and I want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
Um, so what are some classes? Talk to me about, I mean, you've completed the residential treatment. What else have you done?
So I'm almost done with my associate's degree in business. I have 1 semester left, and I just completed the web and graphic design, and also culinary arts. This whole time I've stayed active with workout classes throughout the week, and then I had church on the weekends. And so I just stayed busy with school and then working as well.
Yeah, you've been really busy. That's great.
Yeah.
I like all these classes you've been taking. Um, so associate's degree, you said, in
Yeah.
business?
In business. Mhm.
Cool.
1 more semester.
All right.
I'm
And
excited about
do
it.
you plan on, if you get released, do you plan on finishing that up, or
Yeah.
are you in the middle of a semester? What's going on?
Yeah, so I just started, I have 3 classes that I'm taking this semester, and then I'll have 2 more classes after, so I'll finish that on campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
If I'm at Orange Street, I'll finish there.
okay, so if you were released, do you feel like it would be easy to make that transition and continue going to school?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's so many opportunities you have then with that, with the culinary arts certificate you got, your associate's degree. You've done really well. Do you feel like you'll be able to apply what you've learned once you get out?
Yes.
And do you have any plans? Tell me about that. Like,
So-
other than working at an auto dealership, what else?
Culinary arts I kind of did just for fun, just so that I could be a better cook for my kids, and had so much fun with it. And then web and graphic design I did because I want to start my own business, and I'm not exactly sure what I want to start yet. I wanted to do my own dealership, but so that's why I did web and graphics, so that I could be able to market and do my website and business cards and everything. I also want to help my kids start their own businesses too, so web and graphic was perfect for that.
And then as far as support, I mean, I read you had a letter from your daughter, who was also one of the victims in the case.
Uh-huh.
Um, Nan, is she here today?
She should be.
Okay.
She's really shy.
Um, is there anything you wanted to say? You don't have to. No, okay. Um, but I read your letter. Thank you very much. Very good letter.
Yeah, she did a good job.
You have a good family,
I do.
and you're lucky to have such good support.
Thank you.
And you're going to need everybody, right?
Yes.
Um, I guess tell me a little bit about, um, talk to me a little bit more about you have specific plans on, I mean, you're going to need to continue to deal with your mental health and with the grieving process. Do you have specific plans for a specific therapist that you could go see once you're released, or what's your plan with that?
So Salt Lake, I'm not familiar with. We've never lived in that area, but I'm familiar how to navigate with resources on the outs and in finding a good therapist and family therapist. And I'm excited about this new church that I've joined here. And then I'll just need to find a healthcare provider to stay on my antidepressants,
Mhm.
because those have really helped a lot. I don't think I would have gotten that far as I have without it. So I'll
Mhm.
definitely stay on those. But therapy is a big one that I know me and my kids I want to stay active in that for sure.
Um, just want to look, let's see, you finished your high school. What did you have left to get finished high school?
I had my GED, so
Oh, you had it? Okay.
yeah, I had already had it, so it was just sent in, and then I recognized that that's something that
Oh,
I
okay.
needed to get done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, your guideline date is actually in a year from now. It's January 9th of 2026. That's just a guideline. It's not something the board has to follow. And once you're given a specific date, you would get credit for finishing up your associate's degree. You get a 4-month credit, and then you would also get a 4-month credit for completing the residential treatment. And that could be taken off of the guideline, or it's possible the board would decide to keep you longer than your guideline and then just take that off from that point. Um, Tell me about what do you think the board should do on your release? You think you should stay in here for a little bit longer? Do you think you're ready to get out? You tell me what you think.
I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get out and heal with my kids. And I remember when everything first happened, I would always say that I deserve to be here. And so whatever time was given to me is what was fair. But now I like I said, have found myself again, and I'm ready to heal at home with my family and my kids. And I know that they're ready for me as well.
Um, your case manager, has said that he would recommend that you be given parole to reunify with your children and begin treatment and fulfillment of your release plan. He says your behavior while incarcerated has been outstanding and that she has used her time here very wisely while taking accountability for her actions that led her here. How do you feel about that?
I agree. I've definitely done my best here to do self-improvement, and I feel like some of your questions, I feel like I'm drawing a blank because I'm so nervous, but like I've definitely done the best that I could to better myself here and use those skills on the outs when I do go home.
Anything else that you would like the board to consider?
Um, no, but I did just want to say something, like I have a plan, not a very set in stone plan, but I do want to make a difference with bringing awareness to driving under the influence and speak in the community and give back to the community as much as I can when I do go home, and hopes to save lives.
And tell me a little bit about that. Where could you do that?
So I'm not too sure. That's why I said it's not set in stone, but when I get out, I definitely want to look into it. I want to share my story and hopefully help other people. You don't realize how serious I mean, it's serious. It just never, people don't get behind the wheel and thinking that they're going to hurt somebody or themselves. And it happens all the time. I just want to bring awareness as much as possible when I do get out and go home.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And you have done really well here. You should be proud of yourself for how well you've been doing
Thank you.
to take accountability and to move forward. Anything else the board should consider? Okay.
That's all.
Well, with that, then we'll go ahead and conclude today's hearing. And I wish you the best of luck and success, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Am I able to